excited for this conversation. We have with us this Zoom talk, we have the curator, Robinah Nansubuga.
Hello, shalom.
We have with us Glorya, one of the participating artists. And we have Dilovi Kogala, another of the participating artists at the exhibition. And today we'll focus on their work, on Gloria's and Dilovi's work and their process. And we'll try to focus and touch on issues of identity and orientation. And we hope you'll enjoy our conversation. So, Robinah, maybe I'll start with you. If you can, maybe while presenting the theme of the East Meets East exhibition, go through the importance or the place of the themes that are in the exhibition and the place of identity and orientation in regards to queer identity, gender orientation, and even in general within the Ugandan society.
Hello, hi everyone. Welcome. Thank you so much for spending your time with us this evening. We welcome you to East Meets East. This is where you're getting Israel. I'm very happy to be representing all these artists from Uganda that took part in this exhibition. And I'm very happy to present the artists here. Glorya Chichoncho and Dilovi Kogala. The exhibition East Meets was an exhibition, or is an exhibition that, as a Ugandan curator and together with Ugandan artists, we thought it is very important for us to present our contemporary art outside of Uganda. But also to try and make collaborations, exchanges, and connection with Israel. And there were a lot of themes that the artists were using within their work. The way the artists were chosen was based on the themes of the work that they are making. And one of a few of the themes that came across identity and orientation. Dilovi's work was Womaksin, really highlights how Dilovi works with identity and sexual orientation. In Uganda, we do have a lot of cultural conflicts, traditional conflicts, political conflicts, religious conflicts, and these affect the way in which we present our work to the Ugandan community and to the community outside. And it is also very important to present these themes. Why are we having this exhibition outside the country? It is also, we have a plan to bring it back into the country, but we are also looking for alternative spaces. And I'm very happy that new artist gallery studio and CoCuDi Center could be happy to give us a space like this to show work of Dilovi in this context where Dilovi can be stating things that cannot easily be stated in a Ugandan context. Just to give you a small background of LGBTQI community in Uganda, there's so many laws that are affecting us in terms of the homosexuality bill, and these affect our communities as well. But we don't have many chances of presenting or vocalizing or saying these things out in public. And I'm very proud that Dilovi works in a way that she connects with the community in which she feels that is presenting her, is presenting Dilovi, and is also presenting other people in Dilovi's work. At the moment, if you're called or you're known to be a person, to be a queer person, you have to be taken to prison. That's number one. If you know someone who is queer and you haven't reported them, they also need to be taken to prison. As I was saying, At the moment, so the law is quite very strict, and it affects a lot of people. From if you know somebody who is queer and you don't report to them, you're in trouble. That means it includes your relatives, your friends, which makes it a very dangerous space to have these conversations. And the problem is not only it comes from the culture, the tradition, the politics. So you have to have a certain form of resilience. And Dilavi is a very strong activist of the LGBTQI, but also activist of self-identity. And I felt like Dilavi being part of this exhibition is also a statement of who are we as self, how do we identify ourselves within these groups and communities. As I was mentioning before, that some of the themes were coming from who are we, what are we saying, who is seeing us, who is speaking for us. And that is how East Meets East becomes a very interesting exhibition from our perspective as Ugandan or Ugandan artists. And I believe that whatever happens within this exhibition, it's very important to show the work of Dilavi outside, or for the work of Dilavi to have a space in which she can show freely. And this is what I, as a curator, feel that this exhibition has given a platform to the work of Dilavi, but it has also given another confidence, collaboration. And the confidence comes in from the part of how do you collaborate with other artists, and also being able to see the work in a different space. In Uganda, we do have, mostly we have commercial galleries. We don't really have exhibition spaces that make the artwork be presented in a grand way that it should be. And I'm very, and I think for this conversation even to be happening right here, right now with you guys is also a step forward to engage more with these conversations around these topics, but also to have communication from some of these small minority communities, which I will not go into details. I believe that Dilavi will tell us a little bit more about this. But also to have Glorya Chichoncho's work that keeps on. Glorya as a writer has also been highlighting some of these aspects of self-identity. But how do we begin? What's the way forward? If we have these conversations, then what happens? I hope that this evening we shall be able to make new friends, but also to engage more and have references on how it is happening in Israel. If we share together, we don't know. But we are very happy and appreciative of the platform that has been given to us during this very hectic time for everybody. And it is very important that you've taken your time off to just listen to us. But it's also been very grateful to us to know that during this pandemic time as artists, our voices can be heard by many who haven't had the time to engage. And hopefully you find the time to see the exhibition online. We have the virtual tour, but I look forward to having more conversations with you this evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Robinah. That was super interesting, and I think very interesting and unfamiliar to the Israeli and international audience outside of Uganda. But I think we really want to hear from the artists themselves. And Glorya, maybe you can share with us. Maybe you can share with us the work that is being shown at the exhibition, where it comes from, how it connects to your identity or orientation as a Ugandan artist. We would really love to know what we are seeing. On the screen now, you see Gloria's work at the exhibition.
Great. First of all, thank you so much for organizing this. It's lovely to be here with you, Kamar, with Dee, and with Robinah. And it's been honestly a pleasure being part of this exhibition. And it's been exciting to have my work in conversation with other artists, but it is especially interesting for me to have my work in conversation with what Dee does, because we both are part of the queer community here, not necessarily in that institutional sense or in terms of organizations, but we are living that daily experience here for people. And it is interesting to see our work now kind of together in this exhibition space. I hope you can hear me clearly. I don't know if I'm talking a bit low. Is good? Okay. Yeah, so my work for this exhibition is a zine that I created during a residency when I was in Mexico City. And it is work that I started when I was in Uganda, thinking a lot about, where I wanted my work to go as a poet and as a zine maker. And maybe I could just quickly show you the cover of this work. You are lost, you are here, which is what I made. And to me, there was a lot going on in this work. I mean, I primarily work as a poet, so I was trying to really explore the way that I was writing. I'd written a lot in the past about my identity as a woman, as a queer person, and then also just my identity as a Ugandan, because I've traveled a lot and I haven't really been here, and in a way, I find it very hard to fit in here in this country, just as a Ugandan, let alone as a woman and as a queer person. But for this work, where it was really interesting for me to do exploration, was one through collaboration and collective work, because I wrote the poetry, but I had somebody working with me to translate it. I worked with other people to create collective illustrations and collage. And I also really wanted to create an experience of people entering this text and this work in multiple ways. And that to me has a lot to do with the idea of orienting yourself and of queerness as well, because when I create my zines, I want people to not feel like they have to do things in a certain way. They don't have to read in this order. They don't have to experience in this order. So I wanted to make multiple options for people to experience the work that I was making. And I think that is a reflection of how I feel that we should be free to experience our lives and to, explore who we are. And I think that for me, the terminology is not always important, but here it is. Queerness, being queer, or just the word queer, is an important term for me, because I think in Uganda, the way we've been having our discussions, we feel like we're trying to expand our identity, and the word queer has been kind of helping create that room, because people here are scared of certain words. You don't want to hear the word lesbian, you don't want to hear transgender, you don't want to hear this, and I love it when people are very bold and they're like, no, this is who I am. But I also think it's important to create that space where people have time to explore themselves before they have to be forced into a public declaration, etc., of this is who I am, I have to be this person under this label. So that's kind of the room that I'm working in. And this work doesn't, necessarily deal with explicit queer themes, but the way I think it's made to me feels like it still embodies that spirit. I don't know if there's much more I can say at the moment about this work, but I wondered, do you want me to show off some of the internal bits, or you have some images, Tamar?
All right. I don't have the images because they are printed, but maybe we can see some of the images. That can be very, very nice.
So look at this. Okay. It's just, in brief, it is a book that I wanted to make, or a zine that I wanted to make, that allowed people to enter the work in multiple ways. So one way is that it's bilingual. On one side, there's English text and poetry that I've written, and on the other side is Spanish text. So you're seeing the Spanish text now. And the format as well allows you to just open to any page and start reading. You don't have to read from, in the order that it's presented in, but just you open it wherever you land, that's where you could start reading from. And that was one way for people to enter the work, was through languages and also to just flexibly read the work. But we added an internal pages. Let me see if I can stand and show this, of collective drawings that were made of collage and were based on the 5 movements. Is a kind of meditation, which includes things like quietude, chaos, representations of different emotions that you go through when you're doing these movements in this kind of meditational practice. And at the time, I was actually personally having a very difficult time being away from home, but also not really wanting to be home because I didn't feel the freedom here. You know, I needed to be somewhere else to do this work. And it was a very kind of funny like duality of not feeling at home because I was away from my community, my core people, but also feeling free because in Mexico City, nobody cared if I was queer there. That wasn't the problem. You know, those other things was just finding other ways to fit in. So this is what I was exploring during my time there, were the feelings of lostness, of non-belonging, and of when do you feel like you belong, and really going through these kinds of emotions and, you know, feeling okay to acknowledge them and say that this is where I am emotionally, these are the difficulties I'm facing, and sharing that and expressing it in so many ways. So I think that would be just like a good place to start, to give an introduction to the work, and we can talk about it a little bit more as we go on. But just as I hand over to Dee to introduce themselves, I think one of the important things is that as we continue to work and have our work in these exhibition spaces and share things, I feel that I grow bolder and more confident about, you know, my identity as well and sharing who I am, because there are other people like Dee there with me and it doesn't feel isolated, you know? We know that we're both there and we got each other's back, we're looking out for each other, and we are representing different sides of this community, which is great because it's not one experience. Me and Dee have led completely different lives, but here we are in conversation. So yeah, pleasure to share that.
Thank you, Gloria. Thank you. I will just say that the zine is part of an installation that includes, like you saw in the pictures, the spread out zine, the folded one, and then one pages that people can take, and a video of Gloria reading the zine. Maybe we'll have a few minutes at the end to show you an image, a bit of her, of the video. So thank you for that. It was really interesting. Now, if it's okay, I'll come to you, Dee. Hi, thank you for joining us. So, like Robinah said, your participation at the exhibition is something that is significant, both in terms of you showing your work, but also as a voice that is difficult or cannot be heard in many parts, in many ways in Uganda at the moment. So if you can just tell us about yourself, about your work, and what we are seeing, what is on the series that we are seeing at the exhibition.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. So I'll definitely start by introducing myself. And as Robinah said already, I'm an activist, I'm a poet, and I'm a self-taught photographer and a non-binary being living in Uganda. So with the series of work that is being shown in the exhibition, East Meets East, I'm Woman, simply is meant to explore identity, because in my view, I feel like as humans, we are constantly evolving, you know, to becoming, to being, to literally like living to the best of how we can, given the circumstances of where we are, or the spaces that we occupy, or the people that are with us. And being in Uganda as a queer person, obviously, has its own, you know, perks. And as Gloria has already said, you know, like we lack the kind of freedom that we need to kind of like, you know, keep evolving and becoming who we are. So basically, this series of work is just to kind of highlight that, you know, like no matter what, I feel like, you know, to celebrate the bravery of those who have, you know, like been confident enough to live authentically, to live their truth, you know, given the different stumbling blocks in their way or in their path to becoming, the beings that they deserve or that they feel to be. And as a person who is not so much into the boxing and labeling and stuff, but I feel like when you come from a country like mine, it's important to kind of, know or be bold enough to literally say it out loud that I'm a part of this, I belong. Because I feel like we constantly are seeking to find, spaces or people that we belong to, or kind of where we can put ourselves and, feel at peace. And so obviously, when it comes to sexual orientation here, it is, it's either, there's this weird dynamic. It's either you're out, or it's either you're, so you have to kind of find the balance, because then it kind of puts you in the position where if you're not out, then you literally don't know exactly what is what goes around, what everyone does, what is happening in the community, because no one is going to trust enough to engage in conversations like that when they don't feel, when they don't feel like you are part of them. And so, whereas when you're out, it's just okay, there's these conversations like what we are having now, through my work, through Gloria's work. It's all about putting ourselves out there and, trying to live our truth. And honestly, it takes a lot of courage and strength and, because there's a lot of moments of, feeling unsafe and just literally feeling like you're not, I don't know how I can term that, but not feeling the kind of freedom that you would want, in a way to express yourself. And so a woman is basically, celebrating women and all those that identify as women, but at the same time celebrating togetherness, celebrating love, and literally defying all the odds, that might have prevented, us or the beings in my photos from, truly living, or truly becoming. As Gloria said, also, I guess that's all I have to talk about this body of work, and we can always, keep the conversation going as we go. But yeah, in the end, it's honestly my work tends to, apart from the celebrating of love or the bravery of the people of us, the kind of take part in these bodies of work, but at the same time is to defy and try to change the narrative, around issues of beauty, around self-identity, around the limitations that are bound into the stereotypes of that are embedded in the society to kind of describe, us depending on our private parts, if even that makes any sense. So, yeah. Thank you.
That was fascinating. Can I ask both of you, maybe we'll start with you, Dee, if there is, and what is the significance or what it means for you to show outside of your country? Would you rather to have an exhibition in Kampala, or is it somehow a way to expand your community internationally? What is the significance for you that your artist community or your, today we're a small world, but then it's a very large world. I really am curious what it means for you, if there's any significance for you showing outside of Kampala.
Of course, it will be it will mean so much to me if I could just, walk into a space and, curate these bodies of work, to show in Kampala, to show in my home country. But in the end, we have to also think about, the safety precautions and how, that come around doing that. Because in the end, for me, it is always about safety first for myself and the participants, because it's the same thing as if I'm going to shoot for any series that I do when it comes to like identity or like the LGBTQ community, I can't just, like walk into a place and be like, okay, I'm going to start shooting here. I would love to like, walk into a street and just kind of like, bring my participants all colored up and like, dressed, dripping with, like all this, like love and color. But in the end, it's, like that will definitely like put us both in, harm's way. And so there's always been like the limitation of like me having to go to friends' places or like my place, to kind of like shoot from there. So I have another body of work that is called The Kingdom, which has also like some of these images. And in the beginning, I literally had to like, make a very, password protected exhibition, at my house and invite all like the participants, and a couple of friends, because I felt like I wanted to show them what I was creating, like when it comes to my work, or like even showing participants how like, the world can view them through my images. But I couldn't just, like do it anywhere. So for me, I always tell myself that if I can't start from home because of the, like given circumstances that we all know, I can always start from somewhere else, like I don't care where it is, but in the end, it will always come to me, because if people see my work, from all these other places, in the end, my name, which kind of like, drives back to being Ugandan or being from here, it will always bring my work home. As I said, like it would be more important if like I could show my work here, because obviously, as I said, it's more about like, normalizing, what they would have, like our difference, normalizing our difference between the society and us, because if it's clashing, because the society is so set on not accepting, like what they don't understand or like what is different from their perpetuated normal. And so to kind of like normalize, if someone sees an image of Anna, like in my exhibition somewhere that I'm showing my work, and then when they see a person alienated by that, they'll be like, oh, actually, I saw that, in like, one of these images. So it kind of like, connotates the kind of like normal, but yeah, given the circumstances, it's not, like an easy thing. And however much I feel like sending this work out there also like kind of like, highlights the importance of like visibility and representation when it comes to my work, or like the participants that are in my work. And yeah, the only challenge with that though would be is when it comes to other countries where like, being gay is kind of normal and legal. All these images that I'm taking would
it's always
seem like
normal.
because
question about legal, not normal.
Yeah, so it kind of like, shows these images would appear definitely as, like something that is like every day, it's regular, because, like many people like in New York, streets kind of dress like this and walk around, because that the society accepts that. But then it also like is about highlighting the difference between our kinds of freedoms, because this kind of freedom, our kind of freedom is pain, because we have to sacrifice a lot, like of ourselves when it comes to safety, when it comes to all the things that would have happened, that could happen, if like they kind of find out of like the kind of work that we were doing. And so, yeah, like that's the only challenge. But for me, I'm literally okay with my work showing whatever it shows, because in the end, it will always come back home and it will, still push the message that I'm trying to push.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. I want to have time for questions, the live session at the end. So Gloria, Robinah, if you have anything to add, please go ahead, and then we'll be able to go to the live session. Gloria?
Gloria, do you want to go fast?
Yeah, I would like to just kind of bounce off of what Dee's saying. I think there's something very profound in how they stated that your name always brings the work back home. I think that's, to me, something to just stop and think about for a minute, that we are both out there representing our work with our names, our real names. We can be tracked, we can be traced, but it also means if somebody's seeing the work, no matter where they see it, a Ugandan who's even in diaspora can say that this is somebody who comes from where I come from, or other Ugandans can see the work even online, even if it's not in Kampala, and say that I've seen somebody go before me and do this work, and it means that I can do it too, or that I am represented. So I wouldn't want to move on without kind of recognizing that. I also say that doing work here in Kampala is a bit difficult for a number of reasons. Some of them are even just logistical, honestly. But when I look at the people that I perform for or that I write for, because often I would perform my poetry as well, and well, back in the day, I was really trying to cater to so many audiences, you know, and I feel that more and more I'm really just speaking to the people I feel need to hear this. And initially my work was also a bit abstract. It felt like I was constantly dropping like breadcrumbs of like, you know, queerness. It's like somebody's like, oh, this one must be a lesbian. She said that, and, you know, like giving something for like people to kind of have an insight or feel like they can, you know, jump into the work, but without the fear of like, you know, diving head first deep into it as a queer person, you know. But over time, it's become less breadcrumbs and more just like very loud shouts of like, you know, you become more and more bold. If you know that there are people there who really need this, and you want to be more fair in your representation and more open and more honest, and also, you know, you get tired, I think, over time trying to kind of toe the line. And personally, for me, I feel that more and more I get tired. And but the art still creates enough breathing room for other people to enter the conversation and kind of access it without having to hit all these like political, social, cultural blocks, you know? So that's, I also don't particularly, I want the work to always come back home, personally. I feel that I tend to show more, write more, share more outside of Uganda. It's a bit frustrating sometimes because I'm like, I'm honestly mostly writing for the people around me. So I always want to find a way to bring that back. And it helps having these things available online. And I'm always looking forward to having it back here in some way. So I always try to make sure I have available copies of my zine to at least distribute, even if I can't do an exhibition. Yeah, so that's what I would add. And also having Robinah there, you know, representing us and carrying this with us. It's very useful to have a curator backing you like that, who's also Ugandan.
Yes, Robinah.
Maybe just to add to what Gloria and Dilavi have just been talking about, how I also see is that the structured social relationships that we need to, that amongst our society and community. For example, in Dilavi's work, you find that the photograph, the models, you know, persons of queer, and obviously security is very important, but also how they view themselves in the work also has been very interesting to the few that I've had conversations with, which is they feel elevated. In a way, it's for all of us. It's not just the non-binary, the queer people, but it's also other, you know, minority groups and communities. And I guess that's where involving like a conception of like some set of systems of action that could be very helpful. And obviously, step is just being able to have this conversation with Gloria and Dilavi is already a step, because who do you talk to? Where do you speak to them? And also how many places could offer a space to exhibit work of queer people, which means in terms of financial sustainability, in terms of progressing as an artist, it becomes very, very limiting. So just basically, I would say, Maxine, and you are lost, you are here. We're speaking to not only the non-binary people, not only the LGBTQI people, but to also the other minority groups that are there. But in the same way, it's also speaking to us as the audience. How do we educate ourselves to start consuming such work? And is this kind of work just consumed in a cube, just in a four wall? So all these are conversations and questions, and I would like to thank you so much, Dilavi and Gloria, for trusting me and Tamar to handle your work. Even the way you gave us the work was very trustworthy. The amount of time, the conversations that went on for all this long time, it's really brilliant. Also, to get to know more about what happens in these communities, it's always, if somebody doesn't know, we were struggling to find the right terms to use. You know, are you them? Are you he? Are you I? Are you? So it's clear that these conversations have to go on broader and showed in a broader perspective. I just hope that for the future, it does not limit where you exhibit, who you exhibit with or from. And hopefully very soon in Uganda, we will be able to have a space where somebody enters and sees your work without you being worried, or the audience, even some of them being worried about seeing the work. And also there's no political intervention of like, why are you showing this work? So I would like to thank you so much, and everybody else that made sure that this exhibition happens. It's been a very long year coming. And obviously, due to all this COVID, we are thankful in one way, and we are, of course, sad in the other. And for anyone who has been stuck out there, lost somehow, we are with you. We are together. We are lucky that we have internet now, and we can connect between Uganda and all the way far away with you guys in Israel. It's very interesting. So thank you so much. And we hope that we can continue these conversations.
Yeah, we'll move to the live. We'll move to the live Q&A, and hopefully it will work smoothly. But maybe before we move to the live, we'll hear Dee, if you can tell us, like in less than a minute, just about where you're heading now, or where is your future taking you in the next month? You're muted, Dee.
I'm muted. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I do really appreciate that, the kindness and support. So, no, I think can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're good. You go ahead.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying thank you so much for the support and the kindness. I got an opportunity to go to the Market Photo Workshop. It's a photography school in Johannesburg, South Africa. And I'm meant to go and do a photojournalism documentary course for 1 year. And yeah, like I have been trying to get in for 2 years. And so I'm really thrilled that I finally got a chance to get in. But obviously, because of COVID, I have not been able to save up as, I would have wanted. And so definitely I have a fundraiser running
we'll
to kind of help me.
Chat. Now, as we're speaking, we'll share with you the information about that. Okay. So
yeah, so thank you. All the support.
I would just add very quickly, please share widely this link, share with your friends, donate if you can. We're all behind Dee in this endeavor. So it means a lot to us, I think, as friends and as artists that you get this opportunity.
Yeah, thank you. And we'll have time for your questions now, but we'll get off the recording. So bye for now.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Hi, hope you, we're now moving to live. Hope you're with us. Hi, Dee, Dilovi. Do we have Robinah? We have Gloria, and we have Dilovi and Robinah, 3 of you. Hi.
Yeah. Hi. Hello. Hi.
I want to say that, first of all, thank you. The exhibition is on display at the new gallery, Artist Studio. Tamar, the director, is here with us. Maybe you want to tell us a bit about the exhibition and what are the options of seeing it? You're muted, at the mute. Tamar.
So hello everybody, and we're really happy to have you here, Robinah. It's such a lovely to see you again, and תודה רבה לכולם שהצטרפתם. At the moment, we are closed because of the third lockdown, but the minute everything will return back to normal, so we are going to be open, and we can open for each one of you separately, and except of the regular hours that we are usually open, and we are looking forward. Hopefully next week we will send everybody's virtual tour, but it's not instead of visiting the exhibition, of course, because it's different to feel it and to stay in the venue. So you are welcome the minute we will open again, reopen. Tamar.
Toda.
Maybe you will say a bit, you will say again in shortly, what Gloria and Delovi said.
Is there any need? I don't know if I need to repeat. Is there any point that after hearing maybe you want to say again, or I don't know if there are any questions from the people from the audience. So I know we have with us. So I know that there were some things that maybe were not very clear. So maybe I will try and maybe we can try and ask them again. They can speak and tell us again a bit. But Dee, can you maybe, I don't know if you have anything to add, if you have anything to share now that you have the Israeli audience here with you, about what it meant for you to show the exhibition in Israel and outside of Kampala. And maybe, I don't know if you have anything to add for us.
Thank you so much, Tamar. And thanks for everyone for being here. So yeah, like when Robinah reached out for me to show my work, it was really an exciting opportunity because, as I said in the recording, I feel like sometimes there's always like a lot of limited representation for me and my work, basically. I feel like there's a lot of also like rejections because of the sensitivity of the topics that I cover. So for me, it was really important to be able to show my work, especially out of Uganda, because then with the people that I work with, you know, with my purpose, then it makes me feel proud that our voices are being heard beyond our borders, beyond our circumstances, beyond our, you know, like lack of freedom. So it shows that, you know, like all the sacrifice, all the, you know, bravery that we put into doing this, all the courage, all the effort, you know, it's finally paying off, that my work can be shown on like, you know, platforms like yours. So yeah, for me, it was like a huge step, you know, in my career. So I'm really thankful for the, to Robinah and to the new gallery to find my work, you know, worth of showing to, you know, the audiences, because I also understand the cultural difference between here and Israel. So yeah, I'm really grateful for that opportunity. And to actually meet, you know, like meet all of you, you know, lovely faces. So yeah.
I think, can I ask you, we see on your screen, it says Delovi, your name, and then they and them. And one of the conversations that we had quite a lot about hanging the exhibition was around translation and terminology. Because one of the challenges that we had was translating the English text into Hebrew and Arabic, where you cannot avoid the non-binary language. So, and we spoke about this. Can you maybe, I don't know, tell us something, share your perspective on that.
So literally, as we were discussing about the topic of identity, you know, I believe that we all evolve, we keep changing, we keep, you know, like constantly becoming. And for me, not long ago, I definitely identified as a woman. But now I, you know, like after a lot of like, you know, questioning and like analyzing and looking deeper into myself, I realized that I actually don't confirm with either being female or male. And so that makes me into the section of like non-conforming persons. Hence, and also like my pronouns, they, them, it doesn't necessarily like, you know, it doesn't necessarily go with, you know, every non-binary person, because some non-binary or like non-conforming people can go with he, she, you know, whichever pronouns that they like. But for me, I find like they, them fitting, because yeah, as I said, I don't really feel like, you know, I would say like I'm more like androgynous, which means that sometimes I can be a little feminine or like, but I also like lean more in the masculine part. So yeah, the talk about sexuality and pronouns is a little bit complicated. So it takes a lot of time to kind of like, you know, master or to kind of like learn it from the perspective of like the ally or like the other person from the receiving end. But yeah, like we grow as we, you know, we learn as we grow. So definitely there's always room to, you know, like learn more information and, you know, keep going. So I hope that was a bit helpful.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. And maybe Gloria, I don't know if you wanna, because I think when you were talking, it was, at least for me, it was a bit difficult to hear. You were talking about the community, you know, the queer community. If you can maybe tell us a bit about that, the queer community and the strength that comes, or I don't know, in Uganda.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like we think of the community in many ways. There is the community as we're represented politically, socially, etc. But I think what I was talking about in that pre-recorded discussion was really about how, like, I felt over time that I've been creating work more and more for, you know, people who are having the same experience as me, for the community, and how their work as well reflects in my experiences, and how it pushes me to be a bit bolder with my expression, be a bit bolder with my stories, and more open. So I think really what I would have to say about the community is like it's quite a difficult place to be, honestly, but I think that we are very necessary for each other. We're helping each other grow. Having my working conversation with these has been very important to me, because I think that we have different experiences, yes, but it's great to have honestly two queer artists from Uganda represented. You know, that's quite something in itself, coming from different experiences, even though we've met on the poetry scene, we've met in other scenes, but we're both bringing quite different sets of eyes. And, so yeah, I think that would be really all I have to say about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Robinah,
I don't know if you're, yeah, I think this sound is not perfect. Robinah, maybe you want to, like, I don't know if, I don't see there's any questions, so maybe you want to summarize.
Say hello.
Even say hello.
Yes, shalom. Hi guys. Yeah. Thank you so much again. Oh, yeah. Thank you so much for taking your time and listening to us and paying attention. But also, we hope that you have a few questions or a few things that could lead us to have some more conversations from here. It would be interesting to hear from your side as well. Yeah.
And thank you for the comments people have been leaving.
And thank you so much for the comments, everyone who is leaving. We really appreciate you for doing this. But we shall continue on Facebook, on all the media platforms. please feel free to contact the artists if you have some more conversations, if you want to see some more of their work. But hopefully you get the chance to see the exhibition. It's very different in person. I haven't managed to see it myself, but I happen to see the artworks. So I'm basing on the fact that the artworks represented, but the space is also amazing. And some of the works look elegantly different from how I imagined them. And obviously to Tamar, the new gallery, thank you so much for giving this platform for us, because it means we are seeing the work differently, and even many other artists here are seeing the work of these artists that they've known differently, and the space really adds a lot. So, and of course, not to forget thanking CoCuDi for all the support and all the media. We can see how much you're pushing this. We hope that Israel can be opened up very soon, that many more people get to see the exhibition, but we are lacking conversations. I think we are hungry for conversations from your side. Yeah. But other than that, if you have anything else, please reach out to us. Our emails are available. Our Facebook links, we can always share with you, and don't hesitate to, let's collaborate, hopefully.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you so much, Tamar, as well, for always coordinating this. And we hope to see you next time. We look forward so you can meet other new artists.
Oh.
Sorry, I missed the first part of the... Yeah, sorry, I missed the first part of the conversations, but I believe that based on looking on all your faces, I'm satisfied. So thank you.
Thank you. I don't know if there's any more questions. I want to put everybody's attention again to Dilovi's effort to go study abroad, and any help, any assistance will be highly appreciated. And I don't know if there's any questions or comments. It was a great pleasure, and we look forward to see you in our next Zoom talk.
Yeah, sorry, can I say one more thing? Sorry, one more time. I just wanted to highlight on why it is important that Dilavi is accepted into this project. It means we do have a problem of skilling people here in terms of practice, especially photographers, and it comes that Dilavi also comes in the category of being queer, but also an activist of encouraging people to kind of embrace their identity. So obviously it's a big deal for us in the artist community here that someone is going to study. That's number one. Number two, not only is it somebody, but it is somebody who belongs to a certain minority group. That's also very important. But at the same time, we believe that when Dilavi goes and has an education, even before she was here, she was already very active. And we believe that she will come back with something more that she will have to contribute to all of us. Hopefully, Dilavi, you do give that emphasis. But don't feel the pressure, just please share so that we can also get to see more people who know and can start also following Dilavi's work. And we hope that many other artists and photographers will also be introduced to these programs. And maybe one day it's gonna be someone in Israel. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, guys, for advocating for and pushing for the fundraiser. It really means greatly to me that this is it's a massive opportunity. The school is amazing. It has an amazing reputation. So thank you so much for the support and the advocating and pushing, for the fundraiser. If you look in the chat, we've shared the link 2 times. So yeah, sharing, donating if you can will be really appreciated, but mostly just sharing with family and keep sharing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I feel honored.
Thank you, everybody. I hope you enjoyed. And this is an amazing opportunity to have a taste of our beloved Uganda here in Israel. So looking forward for future collaborations. And Laila Tov, good night.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year, everyone. Thank you
Happy
so
New
much
Year.
for joining us.
Happy New
Happy New
Year!
Thank you.
Much love. Please reach out if you want
a
to
new
talk about
grace.
it.
Let's hope for a sunny 2021,
Bye.
guys. Bye.